I was devastated. I thought I had all of my ducks in a row and everything planned out perfectly, and it all came crashing down. So today I have a crazy story to tell you. I still can't quite believe it. I have been keeping a little secret from you for a few weeks now, and you're never going to believe what happened. You're never going to guess. It's so good. No way, because I still can't quite believe it. I do have another life update to share, and here's what you need to know first. All of the plans that I shared in this video have all changed. Okay, not all of them. We did, yes, sell the house. That all went through. And yes, we have moved into this rental space. But I have not unpacked anything. What you see here, all these drawers, empty. Have barely unpacked a thing, and there's a very good reason for that. Turns out we are moving again in just a few short weeks. We're moving again. Yes. At the time of selling our house, we had locked in land to build on. At least that's what we had thought. And I was working ahead because it takes a little bit of time for things to go through council and stuff to happen. I was trying to minimize the amount of time that we would end up in the rental here, and I was working ahead with builders. I had done all the research in terms of what house we were going to build. I had actually walked through the display home. I had chosen the floor plan. All of that was done. We had actually paid a deposit for the house to begin building and for the soil test to happen and that stuff. And at the very last minute, to the hour, the land sale fell through. I was devastated. I thought this perfect plan that we had, like I couldn't believe that the rental that we got was just around the corner from the land we were going to build on. I thought I had all of my ducks in a row and everything planned out perfectly, and it all came crashing down. And we were left with no plan forward. We were out of the market, and yes, we had somewhere to live in the rental here, but we had no real plan forward. I couldn't believe it. I thought that I had this like perfect plan. I thought, you know, rentals are really hard to come by on the Gold Coast, and to get one that was just around the corner from our block, it all just felt like it was meant to be, until it wasn't. And it's taken a little while to process that and to get past that, and to let that land go, and to try and figure out what we do next. So not sure what to do. We did the only thing we could do, and we just kept going. And house sale went through. We moved into the rental, but I have purposefully not unpacked because we also started to look on realestate.com for more land options, but also opened our minds to the idea of buying something that was pre-built. Real estate on the Gold Coast is crazy. We had no idea, but it looked like it was going to be impossible to find something that we both agreed on in a location that we wanted to be in for our budget. So we're a couple of weeks into this routine of making a list on a Saturday of all the houses we need to see and what time the open homes are, and going out and seeing them. And this particular Saturday, there were 6 houses that we were to see. I made a plan, we made a list, and we had seen all 5 houses. The 6th house, though, was a little bit different because it was not a house that we had seen on realestate.com. It was a house that what they call is off market. So, and here's the funny part. We don't actually even know really how we found out about this house, because Chris got an email about it, But he swears that he did not sign up for this email list. He's like, I don't know this agent. We hadn't seen any of their houses prior to that. It was like a smaller, more boutique real estate agent. He's like, I know I haven't spoken to this lady. I don't know the name of this agency. I've no idea how we got on her list. And I'm like, yeah, but the house looks great. Let's go see it. It's like, yes. So we had seen 5 houses before this. And at that time, I will admit I was cranky because the first house was amazing, but it was over our budget. The second house was okay, but it was just not quite in the right area and it didn't have a pool. I really wanted a pool. Third house was fixer-upper. Chris was like, I don't know whether I really could be bothered doing all the hard work and having to fix everything. It needed new paint, it needed new floors, it needed a shed, a big, giant, ugly shed in the backyard taken away. Yeah, and by that point I was just fueled by this thought that this was just an impossible task. We were never going to find land and we were never going to find a house that we could agree on that wasn't like $2 million. Anyway, so yes, so we saw this last house. So we pull up and I look at it and it looks familiar. And I'm like, that's weird. But then I thought, well, you know what? We've seen a lot of houses, like so many houses. It's all just a blur. And I look at Chris and he didn't sort of say anything. So I was like, okay, well, maybe it's me. And I'm tired and cranky at this point. So I'm just like, okay, open mind, breathe deep, let's go. We jump out, we walk into like sign in and everything. I take 2 steps into the house, and I get like really emotional and I'm like, this wave comes over me. I'm just thinking about it now. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is our house. This is the house that we were going to build. It's not similar. It's not, oh, it's the same builder, they have sort of similar. It is exactly the same house. The floor plan is identical. I know because I walked through the show home only like a month before that. And like Chris is looking at me because he didn't look through the show home. He only saw the floor plans. He's like looking at me and I'm just like, he's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? And I'm like, this is our house. Like, this is the house. This is the one we were going to build. He's like, no way. I'm like, and we're walking around. I'm like, it's exactly the same. It is exactly the same. Oh, so we're like, okay, here we go. And then I'm like, don't get excited because the housing market on the Gold Coast is extremely competitive. Similar to land, you know, but everyone's got lots of money to spend on houses. And I was like, oh, don't get excited. Don't get excited because you'll just get disappointed and let down. And, you know, it's been quite the roller coaster, I have to say. But guess what? It's our house. We are now unconditional. We put in our very, very best offer, like to the dollar. I was like, do we have $1 more? Because that's our house. And we got it. So yeah, we are now unconditional and we get to move in just 2 weeks' time. So I don't have to build the house of my dreams. It's already built for me. Can you believe that? There is no doubt in my mind that this was all just meant to be, that this was all part of a greater plan. I think I was meant to meet with the builder and meant to choose that house and walk through that house so that when we walked through this one, I knew that that was the house that we were going to build anyway. Crazy, right? Crazy. The only downside is that we've had to wait a little bit to move in. So they did push settlement back quite a long way because they're moving and they needed to line up their ducks. I hope their ducks went better than my ducks, but it all worked out in the end. Yes, so it seemed silly to me to unpack all of the crafty things if I was just going to have to pack them all again in a few weeks' time. Yes, this has been quite the journey, one that I just would not have expected to have happened. I am a woman of faith, and I do believe that God works all things for good for those who love him. And I have definitely seen that along this adventure. Let's call it an adventure. Oh, I still cannot believe that our dream home, the one that I have selected from hundreds of builders and dream homes, has already been built for us. So I will see you all in a few weeks' time in my forever home, my brand new craft space. Until then, bye.